इस देश के वो नागरिक नहीं है, इस देश का कानून मुझे नहीं लगता, उनको भी नहीं लगता, मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूं. There is no public domain of life, and that is why tax comes in public domain. इसलिए टैक्स नहीं देना या कहां भी थूकना या कहां भी कचरा डालना ये असं लॉ नाही. म्हणजे मी एकाला थांबवलं समजा, पर तू कुठं कचरा टाकतो, तो वापस रस्ता आहे का, कुठं पण टाकेल ना मी, तू कोण विचारणार मला. म्हणजे मैं आय कॅनॉट बी द प्रोटेक्टर ऑफ लॉ बिकॉज लॉ इज व्हॉट आय डोंट रेकग्नाइज. इसलिए करप्शन जे आहे ना इधर, करप्शन इज नॉट टेकन एज ऑफेन्स, करप्शन इज टेकन एज माय कैपेसिटी.
What are the historical causes for that?
The historical causes is there is no public morality in India. हमारे धर्म में इसके reasons हैं.
आणि सर hierarchy is highly believed. कारण माझ्या बापाचं नाही, तुझ्या बापाचं नाही, that's one. But the question many times also comes is, are you the government?
Yes.
Because this has been asked to me. कचरा टाकू नका, तू government का, मला सांगायला.
Exactly.
So if you
again, but तिथं तोच है, property sense है. अगर प्रॉपर्टी गवर्नमेंट की है तो गवर्नमेंट जो खुद है वही आ सकता है. आई कैन नॉट बी द पार्ट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट. सो गवर्नमेंट नाम का कोई, इसलिए बोलते ना पब्लिक डोमेन नहीं. दे कैन रिकॉग्नाइज गवर्नमेंट एज व्हाट, एज द बिगर प्रॉपर्टी ओनर. एज बिगर प्रॉपर्टी ओनर.
In spite of strong British rule here, which was so ruthless in terms of enforcing law, for 100 years they ruled here, still we couldn't learn what is law.
Were they ruthless?
They were ruthless.
Only wherever they wanted.
Obviously, but whatever law they had.
नाही, आता लक्षात घ्या, ऑर्डर लक्षात घ्या, ऑर्डर आणि लॉची भूमिका काय असते लक्षात घ्या. लॉ अँड ऑर्डर म्हणतो, ऑर्डर इज पार्ट ऑफ सोशल. आपण जर सोशल कल्चरल भागात जाऊया, विच इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट टू अंडरस्टँड इंडिया इन माय व्ह्यू. सी, आता तुम्ही जो प्रश्न विचारला, व्हॉट इज द हिस्टॉरिकल रिझन्स फॉर दिस, दॅट अँड दिस ऑर्डर आय विल आन्सर टुगेदर. आपल्या धार्मिक परंपरेमध्ये मुळामध्ये रिलीजियस ट्रॅडिशन अँड द रिलीजियस सोशल ट्रॅडिशन ऑफ इंडिया, देर इज नो पब्लिक मोरॅलिटी. ऑल मॉरल्स आर इंडिव्हिज्युअल, ऑल मॉरल्स आर रिलेटिव्ह. पब्लिक स्पेस नाही तिथं कुठंच. म्हणजे आपल्या इथं कास्ट इज अ फॅक्टर, ऑर्गनायझिंग एलिमेंट ऑफ द सोसायटी. So within caste I should be following the rules and regulations. तुम्ही तुमच्या कास्टचे पाळायचे. पण या दोन्हीच्या मध्ये जो पब्लिक एरिया आहे, कॉमन, जिथे आपण दोघं जण एक नागरिक म्हणून असतो, असा डोमेनच नाही आपल्याला. इट इज लॉस्ट. त्यामुळे तो डोमेनच नसल्यामुळे देर इज नो डोमेन ऑफ पब्लिक डिसिप्लिन. आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपण पब्लिक नावाची गोष्टच मानत नाही. देर इज नो कन्सेप्ट लाईक दिस. देर इज स्टेट, बट स्टेट अगेन इज किंग हिमसेल्फ, एज इज सेड. तू गव्हर्नमेंट आहे का, म्हणजे मी जर गव्हर्नमेंट असेल तर आय कॅन ॲज अ पॉवरफुल एंटिटी आय कॅन बी फॉलोड, बट नॉट ॲज पब्लिक. त्याच्यामुळे आपल्या इथं आपल्या सिस्टीम मध्ये तर कास्ट डिवायडेड सगळी सिस्टीम असल्यामुळे आपण चांगल्या आणि वाईटाच्या जात निरपेक्ष अशा कल्पनाच नाहीत. म्हणजे गरीब अशी कॅटेगरी नाही आपल्या धर्म, म्हणजे गरजूंना दान करा असं कुठं म्हणलेलं नाही, कुठेही म्हणलेलं नाही. ब्राह्मणाला दान करा म्हणजे द होल आयडिया ऑफ फिलॅन्थ्रोफी और चॅरिटी इज नॉट इन द पब्लिक डोमेन. जनरल मोरल डोमेन नाही आहे त्याला. दिस इज लॅक्युना इन द होल सायकी मध्ये आपल्या तो नाही आहे कुठे. आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपण ज्याला डेमोक्रेसी म्हणतो, इट इज बेसिकली आय डोंट केअर अशी. आय डोंट केअर व्हॉट यू से. वी कॉल दिस एज टॉलरन्स. ऍक्च्युअली हा टॉलरन्स पॉझिटिव्ह नाहीये. असं नाही की आय केअर व्हॉट यू से बट आय एक्सेप्ट दॅट यू हॅव राईट टू से, असं नाही आपल्या इथं. म्हणजे ओरिजिनल नाही. आता झाले, आय एम नॉट सेइंग, आय एम नॉट completely negative about this system, but originally त्याचं जे रूट आहे ना, ते रूट असं आहे, आय डोंट केअर, भाव दे ना त्याचं, त्याला म्हणून दे ना, काय बोलू दे, आम्हाला काय करायचं. By the same logic, if somebody is dying on the road, I will not care. If some public property is getting destroyed, I will not care. The same psyche is there. मला काय द्यायचं? अरे त्याला काय बोलायचं ते बोलू दे, त्याला काय करायचं ते करू दे, त्याला थुंकायचं थुंकू दे. It falls in one line. Apathy towards the others and the system is sold as tolerance or as सहिष्णुता. This is not correct. त्यामुळे आपल्या इथं हा एक मेजर लॅकून आहे आपल्याकडे. म्हणून जातीचा प्रश्न आला की सगळेजण एकदम शार्पली हे होतात, एकदम इंटॉलरंट होतात. आता हा एक मुद्दा. आणि ऑर्डर आणि लॉची गोष्ट अशी आहे की ऑर्डर हॅज टू बी इनग्रेन्ड इन द ब्लड ऑफ द सोसायटी. म्हणजे द वे वी थिंक, द वे वी रिलेट टू द सोसायटी आणि इच अदर, त्याच्यामध्ये ऑर्डर असते. याचं उदाहरणार्थ आपल्याकडे कोणी आला तर आपण त्याला पाणी देतो. इट्स अन ऑर्डर. आपण सिनियर कोणी आला तर त्याचा रिस्पेक्ट करतो घरामध्ये, निदान नातेवाईकात करतो. अँड आई वडिलांचा रिस्पेक्ट करतो बाय अँड लार्ज, म्हणजे ऍटलीस्ट ॲपरंटली तरी करतो. दॅट इज अन ऑर्डर. दिस इज ऑर्डर ऑफ द सोसायटी. दिस इज वे द सोसायटी वर्क्स, behaves. If the order is okay, the law can work as signal. Yeah, I can suppose all vehicles have accepted that they will move on the left side of the road. If this is the order, then signal can work as law. Law is a signal. Traffic signalचं काम जे आहे ते law करतो सोसायटीमध्ये. While order is that everybody knows that he has to go on the left hand side of the road and turn like this, turn like this. This is order. If this order is in place, then law can work as signals. But law cannot replace the order. Law cannot take place of the order. So order has to come from the society. And law can deal with the exceptions, or law can deal with the situations जशी चौकात असते की यू आर लायकली टू कोलाइड विथ इच अदर. म्हणून लॉ विल टेल यू दिस इज टू बी डन अँड दिस इज नॉट टू बी डन. ब्रिटिशांनी जे केलं, एक्झिस्टिंग ऑर्डर जी होती ते एक्झिस्टिंग ऑर्डरला हात नाही लावला त्याने. त्याने फक्त जिथे फ्लॅश पॉइंट्स होते तिथं त्यांच्या सिस्टीम त्यांच्याशी फ्लॅश होऊ शकतील ते फक्त लॉने कंट्रोल केले. तिथं त्याने सिग्नल लावले आणि ते स्ट्रिक्ट लावले. सो दे वर स्ट्रिक्ट ओनली टू दॅट पॉइंट.
माझं म्हणणं आहे की आपण नागरिक झालोच नाही.
एक्झॅक्टली.
आपण फक्त व्होटर्स झालो.
राईट.
ते जास्त आणि ते करोडपती झाले. पॉलिटिशियन अथवा आमदार करोडपती झाले. सुरुवातीला ते नव्हते. आणि ते अमेरिकेत म्हणे पुस्तक एक मिळालं, सिटिझन्स बुक. मूळ शाळेत गेल्यानंतर त्याला शिकवायला सुरुवात, त्यांचा माइंडसेटच बदलून टाकलाय. ऑलरेडी हे इज अ सिटिझन. इथं सिटिझनच नाही. शिकलेले सवरलेले कायदे पाळीत नाहीत. ओपन मांडतात पोलिसाकडे.
बरोबर.
म्हणतात त्याला दुसरा पण हे आहे, कारण पोलीस ते करण्यासाठीच राहतात. पैसे लागतात.
तसंच पोलीस होणारच.
म्हणजे असा अर्थ नाही. मी
पोलीस वैलन पडणार.
सांगतो पोलीस थांबतातच झालं की पैसे कलेक्ट करायला. ज्या दिवशी त्यांची पद्धत बंद होणार. एक मिनिट. पोलीस कुठं तुम्ही आता पोलीस मी मुद्दाम आता सांगितलं म्हणून सांगतो. पोलिसाच्या बाबतीत जर वाहतूक कायदे पाळायचे आहेत तर वाहतूक पोलिसांनी कुठं थांबायला पाहिजे? मेन रोडवर थांबायला पाहिजे. वाल्यापोळीसारखे लपून राहायला पाहिजे नाही. तू जेव्हा वाल्यापोळीसारखा लपून राहतोय याचा अर्थ असा आहे की तू वाल्यापोळी आहे आणि मग तुला तो कशाला मांडणार? सो सिस्टम मध्ये कुठेतरी आहे की बाबा पोलिसांना म्हणजे जे ट्रॅफिक पोलीस आहे, ट्रॅफिक पोलीसच्या संदर्भात सांगतो, कारण मी नेहमी जिथं प्रवास करतो तिथं बघतोय की नाक्यावर जिथं पोलीस असतात ते पोलीस सहजा तुम्हाला दृष्टीपथात येत नाही. तू जवळ आल्यावर त्याला दृष्टीपथात येतं, कारण ते लपूनच राहतात. लपून राहण्याची पोलिसाची पद्धत ज्या दिवशी बंद होईल त्या दिवशी त्यांना मान दिला जाईल.
They want you to break the law so that you can collect.
पण आपणच असले पोलीस तयार केले.
ते पोलीस तयार केलं.
पहिल्या पोलिसाबद्दल असं काय बोलायचं?
पोलिसाच्या बाबतीत मी नक्कीच सांगेन.
म्हणजे आता आपण what shall we have? मतलब because we are having 1 hour in our hand.
1 hour. 45.
45 minutes. Okay.
Some of us
Swap. So let us choose. Kanata. Shall I, because current political and particularly the positions of the communist parties, and shall we take that?
Before that, I wanted to just ask one small
Yes,
question
yes.
about the economics. There is a lot of noise about each taxpayer in India makes that he is part of a very small 3% who pays the tax.
Yes.
And the fact that indirect taxation is never considered by these people. Because each and every person in Goa pays taxes by
He has to pay tax, yes.
So what is the ratio of indirect to direct taxation vis-a-vis India, vis-a-vis other developed countries?
Yes. See, in India, if you take the taxation at the aggregate level, that means center and state together, then indirect taxation is about 37% of the, direct taxation is 37% of the all the taxes collected in India, center, state included, and 63% is indirect taxes. Direct taxes, for all those who don't know, direct taxes का मतलब होता है प्रत्यक्ष कर, मतलब income tax mostly, wealth tax तो अभी गया, so mostly income tax, मतलब and professional tax which is very minor, जैसे महाराष्ट्र में होता है, and indirect taxes are customs duty, excise duty, value added tax, octroi, all these taxes are called as indirect taxes, entertainment tax, etc. So indirect taxes are 63%, direct taxes 37% at aggregate level. If you take at the only central government level, then it is 60-40 because nowadays, because 60 are direct and 40 are indirect at the central, only at the central level. But क्या होता है कि state government के हाथ में direct taxes तो कुछ है ही नहीं, all are indirect taxes. So total care this percentage comes. If you take this in case of international comparison, then it is exactly the opposite. In international comparison, generally approximately 70% are direct taxes and 30% are indirect taxes. So exactly the opposite. In many countries it is 75-25 also. And as you were saying about US, in US and most of the countries, the taxes on property, there is a wealth tax, as you were saying, inheritance tax, essentially basically inheritance tax. All these taxes are, if you take them, the total taxation, suppose it is 35% to 40% depending on the country. So of that, about 1/10 is directly on the property, not income, I am saying property. And so there is a heavy taxation, and in India the property taxes are almost zero. At the local level, the taxes, municipal level, the property tax है, it is so minuscule compared to the value of property. And so therefore India में property tax जो थे, inheritance tax जैसे, cancel कर दिया, wealth tax cancel कर दिया, वो कभी enforce ही नहीं किया. I have inquired, हमारे जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, अगर यहाँ कोई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स है उस कैली मतलब क्या उस क्लैन का आदमी, ही कैन वाउच, उन्होंने कभी वेल्थ टैक्स का रिटर्न उनके क्लाइंट्स के लिए कभी भरा है, ये मुमकिन ही नहीं होगा. आपको किसी ने पूछा भी नहीं होगा कि वेल्थ टैक्स का रिटर्न भरना है नहीं, क्योंकि वेल्थ टैक्स भरना है ऐसे आइडिया ही नहीं थी, वो कैंसिल कर दिया इन लोगों ने. अगर कर दिया होता तो the highest collection of wealth tax when it was cancelled, it was 1500 crores for whole of India. हाँ, and अगर ठीक तरह से enforce किया होता तो it could have been more than 50,000 crores. आसानी से, मतलब on the fingertip के calculation में मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ कैसे कैसे. Anyway, so what topic shall we take now for?
No, before that, since you have returned this, maybe little divergent, but since you have returned this book on black money, what is your take on this demonetization?
Yes, I had spoken much about it. I had given so many lectures on demonetization. See, in my book, if you take that book, can you give that book to me? This is a book published in 2015, December. 2015.
Before 2000.
Yes.
So,
On page number 121 of this book, we have made certain demands. What are the demands for action? How to overcome the black money in India? क्या करना चाहिए? नेशनल इंटरनेशनल पूरे हमने दिए. तो उसमें से टैक्स एनफोर्समेंट के बारे में कुछ पॉइंट्स हैं. उसमें से पॉइंट नंबर 3 हमने लिखा है, करेंसी नोट्स ऑफ ₹1,500 should be cancelled and exchanged and credited to bank accounts appropriately. So we had made this demand in 2015 December. तो मैं ये नहीं कहता कि हमने मांगा इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ने किया. So but taking that move by itself was not wrong. But in itself I am saying. The way it was managed is a different thing. मतलब किसी को ये बताना कि तुम्हें दवा लो, वो दवा खराब नहीं है, तुमने जिस तरीके से लिए हो और जिस तरीके से नहीं ले, उसके साथ में क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है वो बिना सोच के जो किया है, so that दवा cannot be मतलब accused of something wrong. The management of that is wrong. So that is
What should have been done?
See, what they have done is, there are many blunders they made. First of all, उन्होंने जो फील्डिंग लगानी चाहिए थी पहले, without breaking the secrecy of that, maintaining the secrecy of the decision, because ऐसे decision secretive होते हैं, that I agree. तो उसकी secrecy maintain करते हुए ये उसके जो possible loopholes है, उसको पहले सील करना चाहिए. Put the policemen, मतलब the income tax authority जो कुछ भी है, ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजें, उसको मैं डिटेल्स में नहीं जाऊंगा. So उनको सील करके वहां पहरा लगाना था कि भाई कहाँ छूटेंगे लोग, यहाँ छूटेंगे तो यहाँ लगा के बैठे. तो they did not predict, they did not do any homework for that. Number one. Number two, कि ये डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स जो है उनको जिस तरीके से उन्होंने मारा है, लिटरली मारा है. उन्होंने क्या करना चाहिए था? डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स का प्रॉब्लम क्या है? उनका केवाईसी ठीक नहीं था ना, तो पहले केवाईसी ठीक करवा के लो ना. यू वर्क फॉर 6 months ऑन केवाईसी, उनको बोलो कि केवाईसी ठीक होना चाहिए, नहीं तो तुम्हारा ठीक नहीं है. यू कैन, आरबीआई कुड हैव वेरी वेल डन इट. पहले 6 महीने या 8 महीने 9 महीने 1 वर्ष करो उसकी तैयारी. वो नहीं किया उन्होंने. फिर दैट्स व्हाई रूरल इकोनॉमी सफर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट. थर्ड पॉइंट, जो 2000 की नोट निकाली, दैट वाज इवन जोक. So they should have printed the alternative notes, more and huge stocks of 100 rupee currency notes. कर सकते थे, उसको कोई secrecy भंग होने की कोई possibility नहीं है उसमें. You can have more stock of 100 rupees notes. क्या होता है?
or even same length notes so that machines didn't have to be calibrated.
हाँ.
They made it smaller.
Not just machines. Whether there was a need for 2000 rupee and 500 rupee notes was there. I mean, what should have been done?
Exactly. तो 2000 rupee note की तो जरूरत ही नहीं है. और अगर चाहिए ही था तो उन्होंने, मैं तो उल्टा बोलता हूँ, 5000 रुपये नोट निकालनी चाहिए पहले. किस लिए? ट्रैप देम, उनको ट्रैप करो. 2000 वाले जो है ब्लैक मनी स्टैक्स करने वाले, दे विल नेचुरली लाइक टू टेक इट इन 5000 रुपये नोट्स. बट गरीब आदमी नहीं जाएगा, कोई भी एक भी नहीं जाएगा. सो 5000 रुपए की नोट लगा लो, उनको एक ट्रैप में ले लो और फाट करके कैंसिल कर दो. ऑटोमेटिकली ऑल आर. सो उसको एक प्लान करके करना चाहिए. Demonetization, इसलिए demonetization by itself as an idea is not wrong, but the way it was implemented, I don't know about the intentions, that I cannot accuse.
Even the intentions.
नहीं वो बोल सकते हैं, but as a scientific argument उसको हम presume नहीं कर सकते. हो सकता है because the way some BJP people had purchased property here, there are many accusations.
They had to fight elections, UP elections.
But there is one more point to it which nobody knows.
But there is another argument that when the 500 and 1000 currency is so much in its percentage terms that currency is never devalued. That is what is various people have said.
No, actually I will tell you.
They say that it is about 86% of our
86,
currency.
it is true, it is
and
true.
you can't demonetize 86% of the currency.
See, because I will tell you, 45% of it was in 500 rupees and 40% was in the form of 1000 rupee notes. उसके जो statistics अगर आपने देखे, which we have studied, the note comes back to RBI as a mutilated note. इसका एक cycle है. कितने दिन के बाद note comes back to RBI? 10 रुपये का नोट, 100 रुपये का नोट, 500 का नोट और 1000 का नोट. How many years it takes to come back. इसके जो एक average time period है, it was found that 1000 rupee का जो time period है, it was disproportionately higher to prove that the notes are not in circulation. I mean less in circulation and more in stock. So that's why we demanded this based on that study कि that 1000 rupee note जो है वो स्टैकिंग के लिए स्टॉक के लिए यूज की जा रही है, एक पॉइंट. दूसरा पॉइंट था कि देयर वाज एंड देयर इज ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ काउंटरफिटिंग which has not come on record and government doesn't want to bring it on record. But I have made an independent and you can say very in-depth study of counterfeiting and measures against counterfeiting, the machines against counterfeiting, the efficacy and the correctness of the machines which check the counterfeit currency in banks. We have studied them at very deep level, I can say that, to given alternatives also. And 2001 से हम इसका स्टडी कर रहे हैं, मैं और दोस्त है. तो हमने ये पाया है कि 97-98 के बाद में काउंटरफिटिंग शुरू हुआ 500 के नोट का. क्यों हुआ? बिकॉज द प्रिंटिंग वॉज आउटसोर्स्ड टू फॉरेन कंट्री. या ज्यादा लोगों को मालूम नहीं है. इट वॉज आउटसोर्स्ड बाय चिदम्बरम. And the blocks left India either or they were printed from images. And image printing जो होता है, कोई भी printing नोट का, तो accurate कभी नहीं हो सकता, हो ही नहीं सकता. Image printing always blurs. It's a basic law of physics है. If you take an image, it cannot be exactly accurate to that original size. It slightly blurs, slightly उसको साइज में बदलाव होता है. एंड द नोट्स वेर अप्रूव्ड बाय आरबीआई इन स्पाइट ऑफ दे नॉट बीइंग ऑफ द ओरिजिनल साइज ऑफ प्रिंटिंग. एंड द मशीन्स व्हिच आर फिक्स्ड बाय आरबीआई, आई मीन अप्रूव्ड बाय आरबीआई, they are defective. They are defective in the sense the basic design is defective, not that they are produced defectively. The idea itself is defective because it checks only very specific points of counterfeiting, but it does not take into account. See, there are three kinds of security measures: paper measures, printing measures, and उसके जो internal कोई points होते हैं, वो 3 तरह के security marks होते हैं. उनमें से एक ही तरीके के वो भी हल्के से चेक किए जाते हैं, 2 तरीके के चेक ही नहीं होते. And they are the areas where counterfeiting happens, where Pakistan is very actively involved. So इसीलिए ऐसा अंदाजा है जो नोट्स वापस आए हैं, दे आर ऑफ मोर क्वांटिटी देन व्हाट वर डिमोनेटाइज्ड. एंड दैट्स व्हाई उसका
They are not giving the numbers.
they are not giving the numbers because they are checking, and the machinery to check counterfeiting is too inadequate. They are taking the numbers, cancelling the numbers, so they are taking too much of time. Of course these are speculation, but I am sure that is going to be more because counterfeiting was too much. There was too much, we can say, penetration of the counterfeit notes than what is reported in the newspapers. Because we have been representing to RBI, Ministry of Home Affairs, since 2001 and 2 about the correct machines which RBI should use and the mistakes in these machines. What is wrong in these machines? We have shown in a press conference that how a currency note which passes through the machine is not of the appropriate size declared by RBI. I have shown it in press conference before 6 months of demonetization. मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. So counterfeiting was one of the reasons. So that's why it was not a wrong move by itself, but it was very mal administered, mismanaged, and that's why it created a mess. That's my take on that. So what topic shall we take now to summarize? So, okay, because we're not talking about India at all. भारत के बारे में
Political scenario.
हाँ, exactly. Talk about political scenario and mostly, rather not exactly today, but how, what is the perspective of theft and Communist parties about the present situation? Present means not exactly present, but generally the system in India.
And do communist parties have any future in India?
Yes.
And why they have, from a 1970s position when they were at peak, and they
Yes.
had a very excellent fertile ground to grow and prosper,
Yes.
why they have gone down as a philosophy, as an organization, and why they are seen as more corrupt and more, what you call, disorganized and very rigid forces of the country.
And how, and was the
I'm just saying the
was the decision not to make Jyoti Basu the Prime Minister of India, has it any role in the current decline of the?
But Kerala and West Bengal are treated as corrupt.
No, actually, about this.
They might be or might not be, but there is a perception.
See, okay, I will not touch that point right now because that will take a little more concrete discussion. Let's remain at the theoretical level. See, first of all, there are three communist parties in India. I mean, three major streams that we see. One is CPI-CPM. Another is the so-called Maoists. And third is there are some forces which are not exactly in the parliament, not there, not here, but independent, some individuals or activists.
And where do you put the other smaller parties like the Forward Bloc or the?
That's what I'm saying. The third element is that. I mean, maybe parties, maybe individuals, they have some you can say brand of Marxism, socialism. Because the socialist parties have dissolved themselves. They are no more there. Practically dissolved. There is a socialist party in Samajwadi party, Mulayam Singh भी तो उसको समाजवादी बोलना है joke. You can't. समाजवादी कहने से कोई समाजवादी नहीं. So it's basically a casteist party based on a particular caste affiliation. It has nothing to do with socialism. So one part is CPI-CPM. Now CPI-CPM believes that the state in India is basically capitalist landlord state led by the big bourgeoisie, monopoly bourgeoisie. CPI had slightly different version of it, but more or less it is very closer. And for our purpose, let's club them together. So they think that the system of parliamentary democracy and constitutional rule which India has some validity. It's not absolutely valid and it is claimed to be, but it is not invalid too. In the sense, it is not absolutely sham or absolutely bogus. It has some validity in the sense that कि उसको एक वैधता है, उसको लोगों ने स्वीकारा है. ऐसा नहीं कि लोग दूसरी तरफ है और पूरी सिस्टम दूसरी तरफ है, ऐसी बात नहीं है. लोगों ने उनको कुछ हद तक स्वीकारा है. Although many people are completely beyond the purview or beyond the application of such a use of or enforcement of the rights under that. So CPI-CPM believes that this system cannot be just changed by capturing the government. अब कोई मतलब एक बहुमत प्राप्त करो, हासिल करो और पूरी सिस्टम चेंज करो, ये नहीं हो सकता. But at the same time, if you want to change the system, you have to have intense class organizations, very politicized kind of classes, mass movement, and that is not possible without this democratic setup. And उसके लिए this constitutional rule gives you a democratic setup where the people, the common masses can create a struggle, can create a mass movement, and to that extent this system is valid. You can make some laws, although implementation may be very meager. So there is some validity to this system in which we must participate, and we must try to pull it on the left side. That is, we should go in it and make an elbow space and make as much space as you can on the left side of the system. And अगर इसके बाद में अगर class forces आ जाते हैं, मतलब by violent means, then the people will respond to it appropriately. So by and large, CPI-CPM believes on the mass struggle, mass agitations, and using the parliamentary democracy for the purposes of this mass struggle so that the balance of class forces changes in the country and it goes in favor of the toiling people. That is the whole perspective of CPI-CPM. और इसमें Dalits and the lowest Adivasis, women, these forces which are by their sheer position in the caste hierarchy or the traditional hierarchy, they are left out. They should be given special, what I would say, acknowledgement and special status, in the sense that special cognizance should be taken about their deprivation and their exploitation on, not on necessarily the basis of their birth or not on the basis of the identity, on the basis of their actual deprivation, actual extent of deprivation, extent of, मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि identity politics में हम पड़ जाएंगे, but identity politics successful होता है क्योंकि ये चीजें होती हैं. So in this sense we recognize the caste issue, but not as identity of the castes, as the issue of backwardness and deprivation, and therefore we are supportive of reservation with creamy layer clause in it. Okay, now the next point. The next group जो है वो Maoist जिसको बोलते हैं, they think that this system is completely devoid of any validity whatsoever. So they think that this system can be fought only by the arms struggle, and that's why since 1967 they have considered CPM as the first enemy, CPI along with that, and therefore for them they are hiding in jungles and trying to create some kind of armed struggle which is armed, but I don't know whether it is struggle, it is fight. Whether it leads to class struggle or no, I really doubt, because it doesn't change the class forces in India in any direction in spite of all such violence that they cause. So that is one section. I think it is more of a negation of the left politics or frustration from the left politics. There is a minimum, and the maximum is that there are some vested interests involved in it, which are used by the foreign powers even to malign the main left or the mainstream left. Third section of the left is where there are some individuals who believe to create mass movements, but they do not subscribe to the organized party system. They think that the parties are too bureaucratic. The parties are taking unrealistic positions. The parties are taking too weak positions. The parties have become, CPI, CPM have become very parliamentary or extra parliamentary, and they don't subscribe to the Maoist ideas. So they fall in the third category. There are some very sincere, genuine people who are trying to organize mass movements but without any clear political agenda, clear political kind of perspective. So it is maybe out of frustration, maybe out of helplessness, maybe out of search of alternative. These are three possible. Now there is a fourth which is maybe connected to that. It takes the name of Dalit politics, like RPI and such kind of parties in India, in Maharashtra. But again, there are some frustrated elements. But so long as that they don't leave their identity politics or their whole politics based on identity, rather than the actual economic and material issues of the sections which they claim to represent. But you can claim them, we claim them as the natural allies, because they attempt to or claim to represent the deprived sections, although they actually may not be doing so. So that is the scenario of the left as I see it. But in no case there can be any alliance with the Maoists, because they are negating the left, they are taking the left backwards. This is my view. They are taking the left backwards because they are taking out the legitimacy of the fight. They are making the whole fight converting into armed. That means they are making it impossible to create a fight amongst the masses. They are negating masses the right to fight. So they are not empowering the left, they are disempowering the left of their legitimacy. So there cannot be any alliance in my view with them. But yes, these other forces, they can ally together on some issues. Now what is the success and what is the...
When you talk about the RPI, there's a BSP figure in that...
See, BSP, I don't take BSP in that. Because BSP as BSP is a very clear political agenda. And that political agenda is to destroy left. I know it for sure. RPI is not like that. RPI can deviate. RPI can have individual corrupt leaders also. But it doesn't have a hidden agenda or vendetta against the left forces. In BSP, I have a very clear and very different opinion.
Why so?
Because if you take the basic positions, the policies, strategies, and the conduct and the discourse of BSP. For example, for BSP, they talk about Mula Nivasi Andolan. What is this Mula Nivasi? Mula Nivasi Andolan ka matlab nobody is not mainstream, so nobody takes it seriously. But it's a very dangerous kind of ideological position, which is fought tooth and nail by Baba Saheb Ambedkar himself. Baba Saheb Ambedkar never thought, in fact, he wrote exactly the opposite of it. This Mula Nivasi Andolan is based on the theory that Aryans came from outside, okay. That is, everybody says that Aryans came from outside, there is no doubt about that. Or if at all, it can be discussed. But they say that the whole struggle in India is against those who came from outside and those who are originals here. If at all this struggle is valid, it happened how many years back? Maybe 3,000 years back, maybe 2,000 years back. Now you want to turn the history out and say that the whole inequality legacy of 2,000 years, we want to organize these Mula Nivasis today. That means the capitalists who might be coming from acclaimed section of Mula Nivasi, they become your allies, and maybe the sections of the progressive forces who 2,000 years उनके पूर्वज किधर से बाहर से आए, इसलिए they become your enemies. What kind of joke is this? So this kind of politics just cannot work. So this is a politics of revenge. This politics of identity, this politics of madness. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar wrote in a book, he wrote a book on that, Who Were Shudras, in which he said it's a wrong theory, and he wrote and gave a galaxy of evidences as he saw in the scriptures and from many of the Vedic texts and Smriti texts also. He showed that Shudras, if Aryas came from outside, Shudras were part of that kind of group. If Aryans were here or not, whatever it is, Shudras and Aryans did not originate in different social groups. That is the conclusion that he draws. He says that Shudras were Kshatriyas, which is very calculatively, and Brahmins decided to close themselves and perform Manji Bandhan of the others. And they tried to close themselves as a caste, which was a class originally. This is written by from Ambedkar. That there were 4 classes, not castes, but Brahmins closed themselves and was followed by the others. And this is the theory of caste. And he said that Shudras are a part of Kshatriya, the backbone of it. But so due to the fight with Brahmins and maybe some other infights, they were pushed out and they were given the status of Shudras were not the equals of the Sioux, castes, the aboriginals, and they were enslaved, they were overpowered, they were conquered, and now you are fighting back. This is not the theory which he categorically denied. And this whole thing is based on that. So, I mean, there are such things, position about the left. So they declared everything to them left. We will do this, we will do that. They go by the, and whenever possible, they first when they were in the so they got legitimized by 2 reasons. Communist leader of Brahmin border forces were out. We cannot be with you at the weak spots. So the whole politics is so, for example, racial politics. If at all certain castes which didn't get the representation, almost rest and the racial politics. This will destroy social movements. This will destroy the idea of change. Like the Maratha social change कभी हुआ है न कभी हो सकता है और होना भी चाहिए. You cannot destroy the society from the history of 2,000 years. So this kind of response to secular politics succeeded Hitler style politics, because secular ideology
absolutely
was actually not
nothing
in
progressive.
practice.
I don't subscribe to it at all.
Using it in the form of
So
caste.
this cannot be but RBI
caste equations.
RBI
They made a different caste equation.
lawyers to Ambedkar
And use the corruption
ideas
issues,
and also
but
but
governance issues.
individual
against it.
politics,
So that's why there's
opportunism, corruption.
So what is the answer to this?
all those deviations are there.
Answer to this, of course.
Still,
Secular
the
ideas
possibility
as
of
a discourse
correction,
has
the
to
possibility
prevail,
of,
as
model,
as the direction
some
has to
element of
prevail,
capacity.
and they have to be restated.
So such
again.
alliances
All
do
the
take place.
alliances should be made
So
around.
now-
There is no doubt about it.
With this now, if you
While
take
doing
the
so-
current situation in India,
We cannot
What-
give out nationalism
and let's see
to
the-
be exploited by them.
what should be done? Look,
What is
the
happening
politics
is
of
They are
secularism
claiming
and
monopoly of nationalism.
secular.
And what we are doing is,
by itself,
we are
will
not taking the nationalism discourse out from
let
their
us
hands.
accept
What we are doing is,
that
we are laying in
secularism
their
and
hands.
nationalism
How
is,
we are responding the
as a
way
basic
they want us
society.
to respond.
and that social base.
I would say,
The
let us
social
change
base
the discourse
इसको
of
कौन सा
nationalism,
है और
not
क्यों?
challenge the discourse of nationalism.
Unless we
Let's not
discuss
challenge
that,
nationalism. Let us change the
you
discourse
cannot
of
really
nationalism.
succeed in secular
It's
politics.
the
Secular
content
politics
of
has to succeed, no
what
doubt.
is a
Nobody has
nation?
any doubt about it.
Nation is people.
But secular politics
Nation is natural
seems to have
resources
taken a
of
little
this
back
land.
seat.
This is nation together.
Unless we go into
यहाँ
that,
की
we
भूमि है,
really
यहाँ की
cannot
जमीन है,
succeed.
यहाँ का जल है, यहाँ का
This is because in
जंगल
my-
है, यहाँ के लोग हैं. इसको बोलते हैं
the secular politics as posed by Congress
इसका अब तुम क्या बनाए?
was actually
तो
utilized
राष्ट्र का
for
संरक्षण हम कर रहे हैं, आप कर रहे
manufacturing the consent
I mean,
for a very corrupt
taking this discourse is different than
was secular
nationalism क्या होता
in
है?
its ideological
Nationalism
statements.
is not the ideology
its
of the 20th
practice
century. तुम if
was
you
rationalization
नहीं नहीं
of
होता ही है.
a very
You
corrupt kind of rule.
give nationalism to them.
And that's why people were fed up
They will
of
use it as
corrupt
they
rule
want. And you
and
will be the
also
other
the
one.
caste-based
That means
equations or some
It's
kind
not
of
playing that.
opportunistic
Let's
measures
not
like
get
Shahbano
trapped into that.
case.
Let's not become Arundhati
done by
Roy.
Rajiv Gandhi.
Arundhati Roy cannot
So
be the
such
best
kind
friend
of
secular
politics, which is
I
very
don't-
calculatively
Okay, so let's not
politicking
go in that trap.
and also
Listen,
using caste equations.
when India was
and
getting
also
disintegrated
at the same time
in the
taking
name of
secular,
Palestine, who fought?
discourse
It was the communists in
along with
Punjab.
the, many of the corrupt practices.
They fought against
So
religious
this,
fundamentalism in the name of Palestine.
cannot work.
Northeast में
This did not work.
गुरखा
But
लैंड
BJP
अभी
did
जो
work.
चल रहा है ना,
BJP
अभी उसके
was
पहले तो
out
मतलब
and out.
गुरखा लैंड करके नेशनल मतलब पूरी अल्टरनेटिव प्रोजेक्ट
As a-
ज्योति बसु when he was chief minister.
RSS
Who fought there?
the backbone of it.
Communists fought.
So they want to overturn the tide of
So ये-
constitution. They want to
There
overturn
is
the
a
tide
history.
of
We are
whatever
always stood by the
progressive
integrity of
politics that India
unity of.
we have been speaking about.
So we should take that
they
legacy,
got legitimized.
not say कि
How?
give that legacy in their hands.
They projected themselves
एक पॉइंट दूसरा
as a
पॉइंट है
clean
जो
party.
इश्यूज लोगों के हैं
whatever.
उसके ऊपर
Means.
बहुत स्ट्रगल होना चाहिए
Actually.
उसके उससे बिना कुछ नहीं हो सकता
So unless
and the ray
we,
of hope that I see is in the farmers issue
for example, farmers
the
issues,
mess of the
they
farmers
declared everything that we will do this, we will do this, we
economics
will do that,
today.
and wherever possible they created struggle for it when they were not involved. So they got legitimized by the
agriculture with 14%
They
income.
played where the secular forces were
Agriculture is in complete mess.
weak in the sense
The
at
people
the
are
weak
on the
spots.
streets and that is going to
So, for example, they will go to certain castes
contract
who
workers.
didn't get the representation.
Contract labor में
The Congress alliance.
हमारी
They will prove that.
issues लेनी चाहिए वर्कर्स के कौन से वर्कर्स के इशू ले रहे हैं ऑर्गेनाइज
So, अगर Congress is
हमारी यूनियंस कौन सी है हो गया
playing the Maratha part
यूनियंस है लेकिन कौन सी परमानेंट
and
वर्कर्स
secularism.
Contract workers की
go
कहाँ
to
है?
OBCs.
अगर है भी तो उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन ट्रेड यूनियन में कहाँ है
So, this kind of
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्कर तो कचरा है
response to secular
उसको कोई नहीं पूछता
succeeded
कोई
because
फर्म लेवल पर नहीं बोल सकते अच्छा मतलब आई एग्री
actually
बट
not
एट द एग्रीगेट लेवल
Congress.
the government level so we have to I mean
Form of
you
caste.
can number out such
Using
issues
caste equations. They very different caste
issues
equations.
which are the
And
issues
use the corruption
of
living
issues
or governance issues.
and giving alternate
That was the
third
third
point कि हम खाली
So what is the
negation
answer to
नहीं
this?
सकते we give the alternate
Answer to this, of course,
जैसे
secular
this
idea
third
as
point
a
is
discourse
struggle
has to
against
prevail,
financialization.
as model, as the
Struggle
direction has
against
to prevail,
corruption.
and
ये
they
अगर
have to be
issues हम
restated
साथ
again,
में
and all
जैसे
the
आम आदमी पार्टी का
alliances
सक्सेस
should be made around that. There is no doubt about that.
आम आदमी का
While
पार्टी
doing
का
so,
सक्सेस let us analyze it
We
they were
cannot give
successful
out
because they
nationalism
took the governance issue
exploited by them.
singularly
What is
so
happening?
people found that issue
They
very
are caught in
important.
monopoly of nationalism.
So
And what we are
governance
doing
issue बहुत strongly
We are not
हम क्या कर रहे
taking
हैं?
the nationalism
प्राइवेटाइज
out
खिलाफ
from their
हैं।
hand.
वो प्राइवेटाइजेशन तो हो गया
We are doing
अभी
this.
क्या बोलेंगे?
We are playing in their hands.
अभी तो
How?
फॉर
We are responding the way they want us to respond. I would say,
getting completely privatized.
let
हो
us
गया।
change the discourse
तो
of
उसको public
nationalism, not
sector में
challenge
लाओ।
the discourse of nationalism.
ये बोलना is a
Let's not challenge
thing.
it.
तो क्या करना
Let's
चाहिए?
change the discourse of nationalism.
तो
It's the
left has
content of
started.
it.
मतलब it has
What is a
not
nation?
that it has started, but it is very
Nation
weak.
is people.
कि
Nation is
शिक्षण
natural
बचाओ
resources of this land.
प्राइवेट सेक्टर है ना, चलो प्राइवेट सेक्टर।
This is nation together.
तो उसमें ये लॉज है,
यहाँ
फीस
की
रेगुलेशन
यहाँ की जमीन है,
उसको
यहाँ का
इम्प्लीमेंट
जल है, यहाँ का जंगल
राइट
है,
टू एजुकेशन बिल
यहाँ के लोग हैं।
सो वी आर
इसको
टेकिंग द
बोलते
गवर्नेंस
हैं
इश्यूज इन एजुकेशन।
राष्ट्र।
शुरू किया है हमने, नहीं ऐसी बात नहीं है।
और इसका अब तुम क्या
ये इश्यूज अगर हम बड़ा करेंगे
तो राष्ट्र का संरक्षण हम कर रहे हैं, आप कर रहे
वी कैन गो टू द मिड जस्ट
हैं।
बाय
This discourse is different than
सेक्युलर
nationalism क्या होता है?
ओनली आइडिया से जाना जरूरी है, दैट फ्रंट
is not the idea of
became life
So if you
unless it is
नहीं
supported by
होता ही है।
struggles
So you give
will not
nationalism to them,
empowered
they will use it as they want.
empowerment
And you will be the other of them. That means anti-
हमें जनवित्त अभियान करके
It's not playing that.
campaign शुरू।
It's not
ब्लैक मनी जैसे ऐसे इश्यूज है,
I mean, let's not
where
become
everybody will be on the
Roy.
other side and you will be on
Ajit
the
Roy
other side.
cannot be the
Even the
president of
capitalists who
secular
want to
world.
pay taxes honestly,
I
they should be on
don't
our sides. The unity should be so broad
So let's
on
not
these issues.
go in that.
So if left
They said
becomes
in when
takes the
India was
position
getting
of
disintegrated
making
in the name of
leading
Palestine, who
the
fought?
good sense of the society, good sense
So
of
the
the
communists in
society,
Punjab,
that will really make it
they
political.
fought against religious
That is what
fundamentalism in the name of Palestine.
right.
Northeast
some
में
centers. So जैसे
गुरखा लैंड जैसी अभी
ये
जो चल
जितना
रहा है
strong
ना,
होगा,
अभी उसके
उतना
पहले तो
we
मतलब
can come
गुरखा लैंड करके
we should take the position of leading the whole society,
project
not only the working class.
When
We
he
should
was
take up the
chief
working class
minister.
issues.
Who
We
fought
should take
them?
up the
communists
agrarian
fought
issues. But as leaders, we
Yeah.
are leaders of the whole society.
There is a history. So we are
Including
always
the good
stood by the
capitalists,
integrity
including the
of
honest
India.
capitalists, including
Unity
the
of-
good, if at all, any
So
bureaucrats.
we should take that
So
legacy.
the good sense of the society
Not
should
say
be
कि
there. The left
use
should
that
become
legacy
the
in their
leader
hands.
of the good sense.
पूरा हमारा
That is the need of them.
दूसरा point है जो issues लोगों में
short term goals इसमें आ जाते हैं.
उसके ऊपर बहुत struggle होगा.
last
उसके- उससे बिना कुछ नहीं
हमें मार तो खाना है.
And the ray of hope that I see is in the farmers issue.
Let's not imagine कि
The mess of the farmers economics and the
हमारे
agricultural
ऑफिस
economics in
में
India
हमें 3 बार हमला हो चुका है.
suicide सब जानते हैं
Recently, Bomb का parcel भी भेजा था.
55% people in agriculture with 14% income.
Bomb means actually live bomb नहीं था.
Agriculture is in complete
वायर
mess.
थे, बैटरी थी,
People are on the
powder
streets
थी,
and that is going to
एक थ्रेट का लेटर.
contract
मेरे
में
नाम पे है.
contract labor में
तो ये
हमारी
चीजें होंगी.
issues लेनी
इसमें
चाहिए
कोई
workers के
बहुत
बहुत
अच्छी
workers
बात
की issue
नहीं
ले
है.
रहे हैं
Organized
organized workers.
sacrifice तो
हमारी unions कौन सी
दुनिया में
है?
all democratic forces
unions
से बहुत
कौन
10
सी
गुना ज्यादा
permanent
है.
workers की union
Let's not
Contract workers की कहाँ union?
exaggerate it too much.
अगर
उसमें
है भी
बहुत भी
उनका
बड़ा क्या है?
representation trade union
लोग
में
क्या
कहाँ?
समझते हैं मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
कुछ भी नहीं है, contract worker तो कचरा है.
इनके साथ में जाना problematic है. इनके साथ
उसको
में
कोई नहीं
जाना
पूछता.
तो लोग और डर जाते हैं. इनको लोगों को
तुम्ही फर्म लेवल पर नाही बोलू शकत त्यांच्याबद्दल आय एग्री बट ॲट द ॲग्रिगेट लेवल the government level, so we have to, I mean, क्या है number of such issues.
सीखेंगे लोग.
तो ये जो
अगर
issues
हमारी ideas
which are
powerful
the
है,
issues of the people
लोग
of living
सीखेंगे उससे.
and giving alternatives. Third point.
तो पॉइंट
ये
इज
खाली
हमारे
negation
ऊपर
नहीं
के
है.
हमले का
We
बहुत
give the alternatives.
बड़ा करके
जैसे and this
नहीं
is
होगा.
what
अगर
is the
हम बड़े
struggle
होंगे तो
against
लोगों
financialization.
वो हमारे ऊपर हमला
Struggle
होगा कुछ
against
नहीं.
corruption.
हम जितने
नहीं अगर issues हम
हमारा
साथ में नहीं,
बड़ा
जैसे आम आदमी पार्टी का सक्सेस क्या है,
अपने सोशल बेस जितना
आम
बड़ा
आदमी का पार्टी का सक्सेस
उसमें ज्यादा concentration होना चाहिए.
they were successful because
Fortunately,
of the governance
ray
issue
of
singularly.
जैसे महाराष्ट्र में
Singular.
आंदोलन हुआ,
So people found that issue very important.
उसकी पूरी लीडरशिप जो है सेंट्रल
So
लीडरशिप
governance के issue बहुत strongly लेने चाहिए. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? प्राइवेटाइजेशन के खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं. वो प्राइवेटाइजेशन तो हो गया है. अभी क्या बोलेंगे? अभी तो फॉर एग्जांपल एजुकेशन सेक्टर इन महाराष्ट्र इज कंप्लीटली गेटिंग प्राइवेटाइज्ड.
ऑफ दिस एजुकेशन
हॉस्पिटल्स गेटिंग कंप्लीटली
वी आर
प्राइवेटाइज्ड.
द
हो
ऑर्गेनाइजिंग
गया
ऑफ दिस एजुकेशन.
अभी उसको पब्लिक सेक्टर में लाओ. ये बोलना इज अ
इज मेड कन्वेनर ऑफ द
तो क्या करना चाहिए?
इज नो जोक.
तो लेफ्ट हैज स्टार्टेड मतलब
इतने वाइड रेंज ऑफ कोर्सेज है.
इट इज वेरी
सुकाणु समिति का कन्वेनर
शिक्षण बचाओ
करना इज
प्राइवेट सेक्टर है ना, चलो प्राइवेट सेक्टर तो उसमें योर लॉज है,
कर सकते
फीस रेगुलेशन एक्ट उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो, राइट टू एजुकेशन बिल उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो. सो वी आर टेकिंग द गवर्नेंस इश्यूज इन एजुकेशन. तो क्या है नहीं ऐसी बात
Thank you very much.
नहीं। ये इश्यूज अगर हम बड़ा करेंगे तो वी कैन गो टू द पीपल जस्ट बाय
Thank you.
एंड सेक्युलर
Really,
उनके आइडिया लेके जाना जरूरी है
Vision for me.
also to be kept live
And
and
feel
unless
nice
it is
also.
supported by these struggles
Yes.
it will not get empowered empowerment the black money जैसे हमने जनशक्ति हमें जनवित्त अभियान करके उन्होंने कैंपेन black money जैसे ऐसे इश्यूज है where everybody will be on the other side black will be on the other side even the capitalists who want to pay taxes honestly they should be on our side the unity should be so broad on these issues so if left becomes take the position of leaders leading the good sense of the society good sense of the society it's like that will really make it political and that is what is being tried in some centers जैसे ये जितना strong होगा उतना हम we can come back we should take the position of leading the whole society not only the working class we should take up the working class issues we should take up the agrarian issues but as leaders we are leaders of the whole society including the good capitalists including the honest capitalists including the good if at all any bureaucrats so the good sense of the society should be there the left should become the leader of the good sense that is the need of the immediate need of the long-term and short-term goals
What is the future of
and
Marxism
last
in the world?
हमें मार्को
That will be the
very specific
See, future of Marxism
it's
is
not
that Marxism will have to make some
वो तो
internal
होना है
correction
हमारे
also.
ऑफिस पे हमें
You have
3
said
बार हम लोग
internal correction की भी जरूरी है जैसे learning from the experience.
बॉम्ब का पार्सल
In the Western countries, prosperous countries, it will not only succeed on economic issues.
बॉम्ब मींस एक्चुअली लाइव बॉम्ब नहीं था
Marxist movement, there has been more
ऑयल
emphasis on
थे बैटरी
economics.
थी
There
पाउडर
has
थी
been more emphasis on the political aspect,
थ्रेट का
the
लेकर
social cultural aspect, value aspect of social
तो ये
culture का
चीजें
मतलब
होंगी।
खाली blacks
कोई
के issue लो,
बहुत
Indians के
अच्छी
issue
बात
लो,
नहीं है।
caste के issue लो, that is not
हाँ,
only social
sacrifice
culture,
लो।
one aspect of social culture.
दुनिया में और
Social culture
डेमोक्रेटिक
के ये भी
फोर्सेस
issues
से
है,
बहुत
they
10
show
गुना ज्यादा
ethics and morals.
लेट्स नॉट
Gandhi handled
एग्जैगरेट इट टू मच उसको
गांधी
और भी बड़ा किया ना
गांधी
लोग क्या समझते हैं
addressed.
बोलो, वो बोलते हैं
वो हमने
इनके साथ
individual
जाना
level पे
प्रॉब्लम
address करने
साथ में गए तो ऐसा
कि मैं
दो बार
corrupt
डरे
क्यों ना बनूं,
तो
इसका कोई
लोगों को
reply
ज्यादा
चाहिए।
डराने की इट्स नॉट गो क्रिएट अ स्केयर आउट ऑफ दिस
religion plays
वो ना मरना है तो मत
not very positive role
क्या है
today.
उसमें क्या है?
Claims to play a role.
सीखेंगे लोग अगर हमारी
Claims
आइडियाज
to
पावरफुल
play,
है
have a
तो लोग सीखेंगे
monopoly
उससे
directing you or teaching
तो
you
पॉइंट
moral
इज
sense, which
हमारे
doesn't-
ऊपर के हमले का
but
बहुत
claims.
बड़ा करके
I think
नहीं होगा अगर हम बड़े होंगे तो लोगों
महात्मा गांधी
को हमारे हमले हमारे ऊपर हमला हुआ तो कुछ
these
नहीं
moments,
हमारे हम जितने
great ideas.
हमारा फोर्स बढ़ाएंगे अपने आइडिया
From many places.
और
So,
अपने
Marxist
सोशल
movement will
बेस
have
जितना बढ़ाएंगे
address
इससे ज़्यादा
the individual living
और
at the individual level.
रियल
Also.
होप दिखते हैं जैसे महाराष्ट्र
And
में
we are
जो
all,
आंदोलन हुआ
and that's why
फार्मर्स
when I am alone,
पूरी लीडरशिप
Can I be Marxist? Oh, I'm Marxist. What is the proof that when I'm all alone in dark, I'm Marxist?
अजीत नवले जो
इसका क्या proof मिलता है
इज
मुझे?
लीडर ऑफ किसान सभा
तो in my individual behavior of everyday day-to-day behavior, मेरे लिए क्या संदेश है? Marxist संदेश का कुछ तो होना चाहिए.
दे आर द ऑर्गेनाइजिंग
Unless we address that issue, the Marxist movement will not leave me 24
कन्वेनर ऑफ द
hours
सुकाणु
by
समिति
365
जो-
days. इसके लिए कुछ तो
जितने वाइड रेंजिंग फोर्सेस है उसमें सुकाणु समिति का कन्वेनर
You have a
जित
knack.
हमने तो करना
Thank you. I'm really
तो
obliged for this.
अगर ये कर सकते हैं तो लेफ्ट हैंड होगा
Oh, yes, yes. I know. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
really a pleasure for me
Thank you. Thank you.
and feel nice also.
मुझे बहुत पता नहीं आपको पूरा हिंदी बोल सकते हो कोई हिंदी की अड़चन नहीं
But we see the signs of the success of Marxism in different fields. Today, they were, of course,
You invite me. doesn't want to come to
Security of labor, safety of labor, financial, economic. Today, that is the contribution of Marxism. So we should not be the people who are for Marxism, not get depressed.
त्याची गाडी आहे सॉरी त्याच्या गाडीमध्ये तिकीट आहे
Success of different people. Only one additional question. What is the future of Marxism?
एक मिनिट
See, future of Marxism is that Marxism will have to make some internal correction also. Internal correction की जरूरी है जैसे learning from experience. In the Western countries, prosperous countries, people have only social in Marxist movement there is more emphasis on economics, there is more emphasis on political aspect, the social cultural aspect, value aspect of social culture का मतलब खाली blacks के issue लो, women's के issue लो, caste के issue लो, that is not only social culture, that is one aspect of social culture. Social culture के ये भी issues है कि the issue of ethics and morals, which Gandhi addressed, वो हमें individual level पे address करने चाहिए कि मैं corrupt क्यों न बनूँ, इसका कोई reply चाहिए मुझे. And the religion plays not very positive role today, but claims to play a role. It claims to have a monopoly of directing you or teaching you. It claims.
हो का बरं ओके ओके शुअर
Some of his great ideas. And from many places. So Marxist movement will have to address the individual living at the individual level also. And we are all, and that's why, when I am alone, when I am Marxist, what is the proof that when I am all alone in dark, I am Marxist? इसका क्या proof मिलता है? So in my individual behavior of everyday, day-to-day behavior, मेरे लिए क्या संदेश है? कुछ तो होना चाहिए. Unless we address that issue, Marxist movement will not live me 24 hours by 365 days.